right now on 5 on your side at 10.
The heat is here to stay along with the humidity. Plus, I'll time out when we may see a few showers and storms this weekend.
The hot weather didn't stop people this Juneteenth. How St. Louis celebrated. A lifelong journey of self-discovery reaches a milestone.
I just want people to know that being transgender is wonderful.
A story of resilience and a life-changing decision to find happiness. But first, a pharmacy shooting in Rolla that sent one person to the hospital and sent police on a high-speed chase. Tonight, a Rolla, Missouri man is behind bars for firing an AR-style rifle inside that pharmacy. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. Police say the suspect opened fire this morning at Sinks Pharmacy. That's about a mile and a half from Missouri University of Science and Technology. New tonight, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend just spoke to Rolla's police chief about the chaos and the suspect's capture.
It was a wild police pursuit on typically quiet rural roads in Rolla, Missouri. Multiple law enforcement officers hot on the trail of a gunman they say opened fire inside Sinks Pharmacy.
He walked in, had an AR, and he immediately went behind the counter.
Police Chief Sean Fagan says shortly after 10 Wednesday morning, the 41-year-old man first demanded drugs from employees.
He wanted some kind of Oxycontin, I think is what he asked for, Suboxone, and Gabapentin. When they didn't get him to him fast enough, he opened fire.
Police say the man fired several shots. One bullet hit a 53-year-old pharmacy technician who was working in a drive-thru in her thigh. Emergency responders flew her to a hospital in Columbia with non-life-threatening injuries.
I'm glad she's okay. It could have been a lot worse.
Investigators say the gunman stormed out of the pharmacy's front door with drugs, dashed through some bushes, and hopped in this black Impala that he parked a block away. Police say the man led officers on a chase through the college town. About 30 minutes after the shooting at the pharmacy, the crazy chase finally ended after police say an officer ran the fleeing suspect off the road into a ditch. Police officers, sheriff's deputies, and state troopers swarmed the suspect's car after he wrecked out here in this area. They tell us he immediately put his hands up and surrendered.
It was justified. That's all he said.
9 employees and several customers were inside the family-owned pharmacy at the time.
The rounds that he fired and how many employees were in that store, it's just a miracle that nobody else got hurt. Thank God.
In Rolla, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
The suspect remains in the Phelps County Jail. He's expected to face charges tomorrow. In the meantime, the pharmacy's president says she's saddened to hear about the incident, but fortunate her employee is okay. A Eureka man is dead, and his wife is in the hospital after a man attacked them with a knife at a rest stop in Nebraska. This happened around 7 a.m. today near Grand Island off Interstate 80. Investigators say 72-year-old Gary Weaver was killed and his wife Mary hospitalized after a man from Ohio assaulted them inside their RV. Investigators suspect robbery as a motive. The suspect fled but was later apprehended by police. A dramatic rescue unfolded in Winchester just outside of Baldwin this afternoon. A construction worker found himself trapped chest deep in a collapsed trench while crews were performing foundation work alongside a house on Hillcrest Boulevard. It was a 2-hour operation by first responders to free the man.
It was a best case scenario. Sometimes, these calls don't turn out like we'd like them to, but at this point, this one seems like it's going to work out great. Everybody was relieved, and I'm sure the patient was relieved to get out of there for sure.
The man went to Mercy Hospital for further evaluation. After he was out, crews secured the area to prevent another collapse. Well, we're slogging through a sweltering spring, and we're only going to get hotter from here. Yes, Jim Castillo joins us now with that very hot weather first forecast.
Yeah, hi, Mike. So tomorrow, the official arrival of the summer solstice, and that happens in the late afternoon. Today was 93, yesterday 88. So that was the day that we were below 90, and now we're soaring back into the 90s. 87's the average, and 105 the record high. Now, we did have some rain around Kansas City and northern Missouri. Maybe a really quick spot shower, Phelps County and Gasconade County, but the rest of us dry. and 86 still in St. Louis at this hour. So that real field temperature, we're in the 70s from Washington, Missouri through Eureka, but 80s all across the metro. And the weather headlines, it's hot, humid, heat builds as we head into the weekend, but there is a really good rain chance now as we get into late Saturday night and into Sunday. I'll time that out coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Throughout the day, the bi-state has been buzzing with Juneteenth celebrations. Just hours ago, a lively street festival took over Washington Avenue in downtown St. Louis. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon delves deeper into the meaning behind the celebration.
You don't have to be a pro to get information. Welcome to the 5th annual House of Soul Juneteenth Festival on Washington Avenue downtown.
We've literally shut down the street.
Making way for food, fun, and fellowship.
It's cool to see all these people get together, and the food is great too.
These 23-year-olds are among the black business owners invited to showcase their products. They too are enjoying this moment.
We're continuously, making these steps, striving for equality, celebrating one another.
Mayor Tashara Jones stopping by to issue a proclamation.
It is my honor to declare today as House of Soul Juneteenth Day.
Juneteenth recognizes June 19th of 1865, the day in Galveston, Texas, when all slaves learned they were actually free.
And we need to acknowledge that it occurred. We need to and bring lessons to it so that it does not and will not happen in the contemporary form.
Dr. Richard Marks is the Assistant Vice President for Diversity at St. Louis University. He wants Juneteenth to be a day of celebration, but also of reflection and remembrance.
If it wasn't for those innovators and for those inventors who were able to do things that can progress a country forward, we wouldn't have these things today.
It's why people of all backgrounds and ages are assembled in one place on a federal holiday rooted in the hope of what's possible when we unite.
Everyone's connected, it's like one big community.
Reason enough for dancing in the street. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Dr. Mark says while these celebrations should continue, so should community engagement on eliminating economic and healthcare disparities and police brutality. During Pride Month, voices of the LGBTQ+ community are celebrated. One St. Louis woman has been an advocate for transgender people and the community as a whole. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski sat down with Jordan Braxton as she shares a very personal part of her journey.
She's a woman who's been a constant in the St. Louis LGBTQ+ community.
I love helping people, and I'm always a fighter. I'm a fighter and believer in people's rights. I've been here advocating for HIV and STI prevention and trans rights and intersex rights for the last, 37 years.
Jordan Elizabeth Braxton has been an inspiration and guiding light for transgender people in St. Louis and beyond.
Being transgender is not a choice. It's who I am. It's who I was born to be.
Jordan says her sex assigned at birth was male, and she didn't feel right identifying as a man.
I knew from a very young age. I told my family, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, but they ignored it.
At that point in her life, loved ones called her Leon and knew her as a gay man. She went through decades of her life struggling with her gender identity.
It's called dysphoria. And I had dysphoria really bad.
One thing that helped her be her true self was performing in drag as Dieta Pepsi and competing in pageants. She was crowned Miss Gay Missouri in 1991. Now she's hitting the pageant stage again for the first time in more than 20 years.
One of the things I'm most proud of is being Miss Trans Great Plains. And so I'm going to Milwaukee November 7th to the 10th to compete for Miss Trans USA, but I'm going to compete as Jordan, not as Dieta.
One day her friends took her to the doctor to get Botox, but when the doctor came into the room, she said, I'm actually here to put you on a diet and we need to do some blood work. Those results changed her life forever.
And we found out that my chromosomes, some of them are actually XXY, which are female chromosomes. I said, oh, and she said, and some of your hormones are also female. So she said, technically, you are a pseudohermaphrodite, or in clinicians' term, intersex.
When she was 53, she started taking estrogen.
The moment that I took that first estrogen pill, everything became normal and everything felt right.
And at 55, she made the jump to transition.
I woke up one morning and said, you know what, I'm gonna transition today. I put on hair, makeup, went to work, told them my name was Jordan, and guess what happened? No one batted an eye.
So at 62 years old, she took the final step in her transition journey, surgery.
It's called vaginoplasty. So it took me 5 years because I had some medical conditions that prevented that. I had some heart issues.
For that surgery, she had to see Dr. Lauren Schechter in Chicago at Rush University Medical Center.
I got everything prepared, went to Chicago, had surgery, had my aftercare in Chicago, and then the rest is history. So it's been a year and a few months since I've had my surgery.
Dr. Schechter says gender-affirming care is safe, effective, medically necessary, and truly life-saving.
We know what happens when people with severe dysphoria don't receive care. Self-harm, worsening anxiety, worsening depression, worsening gender dysphoria.
He says listening to people can go a long way in dispelling hatred and misinformation.
Listening to people like Miss Braxton tell her story and listen to what she's saying and listen to how important and how impactful surgery was for her.
If you could tell someone who maybe doesn't understand what it means to be trans, what would you say to them?
Trans is beautiful. I have trans joy. I love being trans. It's just who I am. It's not anything different. Just like I ask people all the time. So when you ask me what it's like to be trans, I ask you what it's like to be a female. What's it like for you to be straight? What's it like for you to be gay? It's no different. It's just who I am. And people should not be judged on their genitalia. It should be judged by their character and their heart and how they help people.
Reporting in St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
And you can see Jordan compete in the Miss Trans America competition in Milwaukee this November.
Baby wipes make life a little easier, but tonight Consumer Reports reveals that convenience may come with health concerns depending on which brand you buy. From Baldwin to Paris, how diver Tyler Downs is now heading to another Olympics.
It's not about the outcome, of course, it's about the journey and, making it fun. That's what it's all about.
What he learned from the last Olympics and what he looks forward to this time.
Well, that heat and humidity ramped up today, and it stays with us through the weekend. Plus, our timeout when you may need your umbrella.
A new lawsuit is putting the future of St. Louis's Guaranteed Basic Income program in jeopardy. The program, championed by Mayor Jones last fall as a lifeline for families living in poverty, provides $500 a month in financial assistance. The Holy Joe Society alleges that the program violates both the city and state constitutions and discriminates against families who opt for religious education. The city has until June 28th to respond in court. As parents, grandparents, and caregivers, we know baby wipes are essential for diaper changes. But how much do you really know about what's in those wipes? Consumer Reports reveals the popular brands that may pose a risk to your baby and the planet.
If you have small children, there's a good chance you have baby wipes stashed just about everywhere.
My diaper bag, my kitchen, in both kids' rooms, by the change stations, and in the car.
Whether you're using wipes for diaper changes, removing makeup, or cleaning sticky fingers, you want them to be safe for people and the planet. So Consumer Reports teamed up with the independent organization Made Safe to investigate the long list of ingredients. Of the 15 brands of baby wipes they looked at, 7 had concerning or unclear ingredients.
These wipes contain potentially harmful chemicals, including some that may be linked to cancer risks. Many are made from plastics that don't break down in the environment.
In addition, some brands have a low pH balance, which may irritate skin. CR reached out to the companies. Coterie and Costco said they use very small amounts of certain chemicals in their wipes as preservatives or skin conditioning agents. Pampers said their ingredients and products undergo rigorous safety testing. Consumer Reports says some better biodegradable choices that aren't too expensive include wipes from Healthy Baby, The Honest Company, Kaboo, and Water Wipes. Some tips when shopping for wipes: avoid potentially harmful chemicals, opt for plant-based biodegradable wipes, and go fragrance-free. When storing wipes,
Heating them in a wipe warmer may seem like a good idea, but it can be a breeding ground for bacteria.
The FDA says temperature extremes like those in hot cars can change ingredients in wipes, breaking down the preservatives that protect against bacteria and mold and allowing them to grow faster in warm conditions.
And even if labeled as flushable, Consumer Report says don't. That's the safest way to prevent clogs. Jim Castillo is in for Scott Connell tonight, and as we head toward the weekends, Jim, looks like there's no sign of this heat letting up.
Yeah, no sign of any cool down. How about that? Yeah, maybe some rain. I'll have more on that coming up. But look, right above my head, there it is, the almost full moon. Really nice looking shot. It's full on the 21st. So tomorrow's Thursday, and that's the 20th, and it's the official start of summer, even though we all know that really started at the beginning of June, meteorological spring, or summer, I should say. What's happening down in the south is a tropical storm gaining a little bit of strength now, winds of about 50 miles an hour, but this is a tornado watch that's in effect for deep south Texas, Harlingen, McAllen, Brownsville, Corpus Christi, and a couple of tornado warnings there. But again, they're quick spin-up tornadoes as this area of rotation, which is that tropical storm Alberto, is pushing through the Bay of Campeche, which is the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico, and pushing into Mexico. Winds of 50 miles an hour moving west at about 9 miles an hour. So that's the first of what's expected to be many hurricanes and tropical storms throughout the Atlantic basin. All right, so warmer than average. We're watching all the way through July 3rd, so it's going to be really hot is the way it's looking, and limited rain chances, but when we get it, we'll take it. So a couple showers and storms in northwest Missouri. That front's never going to reach us, but we have another one headed our way as we get into Saturday night and early Sunday. And there's not a lot of big change of cooler weather back behind it. 90 for Sunday, Kirksville, Des Moines, 89. Out ahead of it, about 97 in St. Louis. So shower storm chances looking a little bit better, more likely now. And so here's the future cast as we get into Sunday morning. So late Saturday night, Sunday morning, better chance of some downpours and maybe some rumbles of thunder. We will take whatever rain we get for sure. Future cast indices indicate about 100 degrees, what it's going to feel like Friday. Here's Saturday, and here's Sunday. You get the idea. It's going to be very hot. All right, 10-day forecast. We'll go through this. Temperatures at 96 tomorrow. So each day we keep on getting hotter. 100 by Friday, and that's in St. Louis, maybe a little cooler outside of the city, but everybody's hot and humid. 101 Saturday, and that better chance of rain Saturday night, early Sunday. 97 Sunday, Monday 96, maybe a little less muggy, but Tuesday 100, possibly 101, and then we stay in the 90s, Mike. Another good chance of some showers and storms on Wednesday.
Try to stay cool somehow.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Well, Mike, City SC is trying to end a 6-match winless streak tonight. The Cardinals are trying to win a series, and another St. Louisman could be winning a championship soon. These stories coming up.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
There is no one in the world that expected this to happen. The Western Conference champs, City SC, has played 19 games now. They've won 3. We used to hate ties. Now we kill for one. Colorado in town tonight, scoreless in the first half, and this is a mistake. Nobody guards Georgi Mihailovic, and he casually scores the goal, 1-0 Rapids. Roman Berkey had some great moments like this incredible save, but then he had some bad moments like a mistake on this pass. Mihailovic makes him pay. How about that? He had the hat trick and Colorado wins it 3-0.
Now, we just have to look from a little bit deeper down the table and make sure that we have to be connected at all times. We have to bridge a gap right now. And it starts with us and our principles and our basics, basics against the ball.
We have some scoring issues in this city. The Battlehawks struggled late. City SC hasn't scored since Mike Bush was a sportscaster. And half the time this year, the Cardinals have scored 3 runs or less, including today, in a brutal series loss to the last place Marlins. Sidney Presler, our former meteorologist, sat in the front row. I guess you can't hide wealth. Matthew Libator started because Kyle Gibson had a bad back. The first 2 Marlins hitters homered off of Libator. The good news is the Cardinals came back twice in the game. Paul Goldschmidt and his hot shot gets through. Mason Wynn makes it a 3-3 game. But more bad news. Arenado was hit by the pitch. X-rays were negative, and he's now day-to-day. Then in the ninth inning, the one-hopper handcuffs Alec Burleson. That's enough for Tim Anderson to score, and the Marlins win it 4-3. DeSmet grad Tony Vitello brought his Tennessee Vols to the College World Series as the top seed, and they showed why today against Florida State. Now, they were opportunistic, scoring 3 in the first, 1 on the wild pickoff throw. You want great defense? How about Kavaris Tears? He'll go to the wall for you. I mean, they weren't kidding today. They'd roll into the finals without losing a game. That will start on Saturday, the final today, 7-2. Today at Forest Park, a big crowd was on hand for the Demetrius Johnson golf tourney. The former NFL and Mizzou star passed away about 18 months ago. But thanks to Coach Collins and many others, the foundation is thriving, helping kids in the area. Brian Jordan was there, Corey Tate was there. And how about Coach Schertz from St. Louis University?
The great thing for me is I love meeting people. I love connecting. I talked about it in my press conference. You know, my job is to connect this program to this city. You know, St. Louis Billiken basketball is the program of St. Louis.
The legacy that DJ has left behind, man, I'm definitely going to support forever. I mean, the opportunity he creates for kids, it's incredible, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Not sure if you've heard, but 5 on Your Side is broadcasting the Olympics next month. We may have mentioned that a few times. A lot of St. Louisans will play big roles, like on the basketball side, Jason Tatum and Nafisa Collier. More on them later. Now, I want you to take a look at another man going. He's a local pastor, Jeff Wells. This will be his 11th Olympics. Jeff goes to share the gospel by trading and giving away Olympic pins. He will have over 100 conversations per day with people around the world, and the hook is that coveted Olympic pin.
It's an incredible way of breaking down barriers, and it's really interesting because the history of pin trading at the Olympics goes back to 1904 here in St. Louis. A lot of the athletes they'd have like credentials, and oftentimes they were made out of cardboard or ribbons. And when they were done competing, they're like, hey, I'll trade you. And that's kind of how it got started.
And you show up with that pin, everybody kind of looks at you and you have a conversation.
Yeah, I've seen the pin training going on at Olympic Games. You have
right.
too. People are really into it at the Olympics. Well, diving again for Team USA, we caught up with local legend Tyler Downs as he explains his high hopes for Paris.
I'm looking forward to opening ceremonies again. I've heard that it's going to be very, very special this year.
Downs is headed back to the Olympics for a second go for the gold. Downs made the U.S. diving team for the Tokyo Games in 2020, but that was during the pandemic. There were no crowds, and he didn't win any medals. This year, he says he's hoping to have a completely different experience, and he credits his success to those who've been by his side since his early days of diving at the Shaw Park Pool in Clayton.
And just being surrounded by such a support system inside the pool and also outside the pool has really helped, and just getting all the experience from many different coaches that I've had growing up and the coaches I've had now and all their successes, it's led me to where I am today.
And Downs says while he's had a shorter time to prepare for the Olympics this year, he's excited to be doing it with his partner and best friend, Greg Duncan, for Team USA. Downs isn't the only one heading to Paris next month. 3 other hometown heroes have already qualified. World champion and NBA All-Star Jason Tatum will be on Team USA's basketball team. On the women's side, Nafisa Collier of St. Charles will also represent Team USA. And in the women's marathon, Emily Sisson, who is a record-setting runner and a Parkway Central grad, she will be there. All are no strangers to the Olympics. Each of them competed in Tokyo back in 2020. And you can watch the Olympics right here on 5 on Your Side. The kickoff July 26th. For more on the Olympics, all you have to do is text the word Paris to 314-425-5685. 5355. All right, we're just a couple days away from the weekend. People are hoping to get some kind of break from this heat, but from your 10-day forecast, it didn't look like it.
Right, no big breaks at all. You know, today was day 7 of 8 where we've been in the 90s or above. So just one day we dropped to 88. But now we're looking at mid-90s for tomorrow, near 100 Friday and Saturday, and those heat indices as high as 105. And then that chance of showers and storms Saturday night, early Sunday looks a little more likely now. And then it dries out again. Monday, 96, maybe a little less muggy, then 100 by Tuesday. And we're staying in the 90s at least.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. And be sure to kick off your morning with Today in St. Louis starting at 4 a.m. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.